Good. Okay, we're going to get started with the invocation given by Pastor Ricky Chambers of the Kingsburg Community Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today, for the breath in our lungs, the people in this room, for the leaders of this community that are represented here. We ask for your leading in this place, for your grace and your mercy to abound in and among us. Father, I lift up each council member here, our mayor, our city manager, and our staff, and the people they represent. May you prosper them, protect them from evil, bring unity, and give them your peace that surpasses understanding. Thank you for appointing each of these and choosing them to give oversight and guidance to the city. Give them your discernment and wisdom in all decisions made for the betterment of our community. Give success to their plans. And I pray for this agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city. May you continue to bless and prosper Kingsburg. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll call tonight's meeting to order. Tonight is the regular Kingsburg City Council agenda. Madam Clerk, can we please get a roll call?
Councilmember Siller.
Present.
Councilmember Palomar.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Mayor Presell Jr.
Here.
And Councilmember North is sick tonight.
Okay, we'll wish Councilmember North the best and her healing. And item 2, approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous pass. Thank you. Tonight presentation, the Kingsburg Business Improvement District, Chairperson Leslie Carpenter. Come on up. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Carpenter. I'm a resident of Kingsburg, and I am the chairperson for the Kingsburg Downtown Business Improvement District. Just real informally, I'm just going to kind of give you an oversight of when we started, what we've done, the goals that we've worked towards, and some of our future projects. And then later in the evening, Alex is going to be presenting you with a micro grant for funds to work on one of our projects. So the concept of this whole business improvement district began in like 2017 when the city had some city planners come in and do an assessment of our city and our infrastructure and our downtown district and our businesses, our schools, everything top to bottom. They were here for like 3 or 4 days. They workshopped and they came back to us with a plan to propose improvements within the city that they felt that we would benefit from. So there were several items that they came up with. Some of them were like increased of wayfinding implementations, like you guys have done that downtown, they're beautiful. Business engagement and entrepreneurship, like we want to engage with our young entrepreneurs. There was also a business improvement district that they suggested, and that's kind of what we have done. And they had a few other items for the city staff that the city, you know, everyone thinks that government moves slow, but 2017, and we've done a bunch. We've done a bunch, and I'm really proud of my group that we've done some of these things. As far as me, my involvement in this is that I was installed as the chairperson for the Business Improvement District with a board. Totally new, never done it before. And we had a lot of learning curves, and we were trying to figure out how to best serve the people within our district. There was a lot of uncertainty from the folks in the district as far as what they were paying for, why they were paying for it. It was put to a vote, and it was a no vote. We had like 0.01% person vote against it. So we trucked on. Everyone, when we talked to folks in the district, their first thing that they wanted was, well, we need a website. We need to do website development. People need to be able to find us on Google, and we need a better Google a better Google like presence. So we hired a website development group after putting it out to bid, and they've built us a website. We're still currently like improving and developing it because there's always something to be learned and things to change in it. The second thing that we found was very important in today's marketplace is the social media engagement. We managed that by ourselves for like the first year and a half, and we decided that that was a much bigger job than we could do when we're already all running our own businesses, and we wanted complete impartiality and professionalism. So we put that out to bid, and we went into an agreement with Oat and Oak. He does an amazing job. He is all over town. He does a lot of things for free for us. We recently voted to give him a bump in his expenses, gladly so. He doesn't just come out and take pictures for you. He's always there to at every social function. He comes to chamber events. He tries to share back and forth, and it's just been a really, really great thing. His photos and videos are amazing, and we are very blessed to have him in our employment. I'm so happy about him. Every month he comes to us with a complete report, analytics, social engagements. He always seeks out new ways to promote Kingsburg. This spring, he spoke with a gentleman, and he was Cal Euphoria, and an Instagrammer, influencer, and he has like 85,000 followers. I mean, I can't even remember, some crazy number of followers. And he came into town, he went to our restaurants, he developed all kinds of videos, he interviewed a lot of us, and then Quinn came back, showed us the analytics that we did gain followers, and that's what you want to do, because every time you gain a follower, then they say, hey, there's this cute town, and they say, follow this, and then so it just spreads. That's how you do that. So he has been very, very positive. We have also taken on decorating the corners on the streets for holidays. That was a private endeavor between myself and Mr. Safarjan for many years, and with the city backing, and so now the bid has taken that on. We also thought that it was really important that we develop a strong relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, and we began collaborating with them because we've talked to several different cities around the state, and the two entities work together quite well. I go to chamber meetings every month. They come to our meetings every month. When we have events, we work together if we can help them, if it's within the district, if they can help us. We recently collaborated on the opening of the Blossom Trail. It was huge. Council members jumped in, city chamber members, and it was great. And Quinn also covered all of that for us, and he developed a lot of footage that he's still using in videos and internet for us as well. We also, whenever possible, we try to put that dollar trolley into use. I think that's one of the greatest things we can do is have that thing on the street and use it and educate folks within our city that they can use it too. It's not just city entities or the district or the chamber. We've re-entered into events. We don't want to overshadow the chamber's events. They do a great job. We don't want to take their job away from them, but we are doing just events in our district that help our business folk. The fall kickoff. Anytime the chamber has something, we encourage all of our people in the district to be open as well, and we share information and anything that they need. This is probably our biggest endeavor that we've done so far. The last item on my agenda for this evening is that I was looking at trash cans one night on our walk, and I was like, this place is beautiful, and these have served their purpose. So I came to, and I did a little investigation, and I came to a district meeting, and I said, I want us to buy all new trash cans for downtown. And everybody's like, okay, that's a good idea. So we've interviewed a couple different companies. We've landed on one that's local, Kings River Casting, and they have somewhat of a relationship with the city of Kingsburg as well. The gentleman is super excited to do it for us. It's not cheap, but we have set aside $30,000 of our budget to purchase them. We are going to come to you and ask for assistance through a micro grant, as well as we are reaching out to a couple corporations that are in that industry to help put us over. They do run just under $2,000 a trash can. They will be beautiful blue. They will have a rain top on them so that they don't fill with water for our city workers to deal with. And they will have a laser engraved city emblem or a Dala horse or welcome in Swedish. We're not sure exactly on the artwork until we can tell him this is a go, but that's our biggest project that we're working on right now. Other than that, my girls and guys that come into the meetings all help a bunch. And do you have questions? None?
Questions? How many trash cans are you looking to buy?
So right now we're at 20. So that would be $40,000. We have 30. The micro grant would be 15. And we're going to ask for donations to try to cover the rest. That was, they're going to show you a map of where they currently are in a little bit later in the following presentation. And then if we could get a couple of the off streets covered, that would be amazing too, because that is one of our challenges is that sometimes folks in our district feel like we focus on Draper Street. We really don't. But sometimes I could see where that would be the perception. So I want to share the wealth and get some of these down the other streets too. So
$40,000 total for all of them?
for 20.
For 20, and you guys are coming up with 30,000, you're asking for a $15,000 micro grant?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't that-
That's 45.
Doesn't that more than cover it, though?
It does, but if we could do more than 20, it would be great.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, 45, yeah. If we could do more than the 20, that's where we want to get the side streets covered.
Awesome.
You know, I don't know, somebody might feel really generous and give us a lot, you know? God is good, so let's just go for it.
Lizzie, first of all, congratulations on your new granddaughter.
Thank you. She's sweet.
That's great. Good stuff. Secondly, okay, are these just 100% rubbish trash cans? They're not recycle and trash, or a mix, or?
They're not recycle, and
Okay.
they're just trash.
Okay.
And some of my investigations and looking into it, even when you do recycle and trash, like the two hole, we could go into something like that.
It becomes all
You're
trash.
counting on folks doing that,
Yeah.
you know, and there's still a sorting problem.
Okay.
We could, and we haven't really talked all this through, if there's like near a restaurant or like a fast food or like somebody that has like disposable cups, maybe we could do a couple of recyclable ones downtown, but right now the advisement from companies that we're buying them from is just to go straight trash.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Anything else?
How heavy are they?
They're good. They're heavy, not stainless steel, because they're like a heavy iron, and they are powder coated. The laser engraving on them is guaranteed, and they come with leveling kits for our public works to put them in. So we've kind of looked at all those different things, and I will tell you, because he tells me like a lot, this gentleman at Kings River Casting does all of the work for Disneyland, several colleges throughout the state, a few universities and back east. I mean, and he's whispering in our ears about park benches for downtown. So he's super excited to be working with Kingsburg. I told him one thing at a time. He's right there, and he's guaranteed, like, if there needs to be repairs, we're going to be there for you guys, because they really want to help us out. They just did 200 cans at COS, and they're doing 150 at Fresno City. So he knows his stuff. So
I think it's great that you're using a local company. I do.
yeah. We could have spent a little less, but first of all, it wasn't even within our state. Second of all, it wasn't anywhere near local, and we just felt better about it. We always encourage, like when we have a function within the district and the bid is in charge of it, we try to drag every vendor. Like, people come and say, you should use this vendor. Yeah, we could, but we have someone within our district that does the same thing. And we may pay a little bit more, we may pay a little bit less, but it doesn't matter, because we're still, using people within our district, and we're building our funds. So, anywho, anything else?
No, Mrs. Carpenter, thank you very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate
You're very
everything you guys are
welcome.
doing.
Thank you.
That'll conclude item number 3, our presentations. Item number 4 is public comments. This is a time for any citizen to come forward and address the city council on any issue within its jurisdiction that's not listed on the agenda. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, and we will open it up to the public. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to come speak? Okay, seeing none, we will close public comment. Item 5 is the consent calendar. These items are considered routine in nature and are to be placed on the consent calendar. They will be considered as one item and voted in one vote unless individual consideration is requested. Each vote in favor of consent calendar is considered and recorded as a separate affirmative vote in favor of each action item listed. Approval of the consent calendar items include recitals, readings, ordinances by titles only, and adoption of recommended actions contained in staff reports. Tonight on our consent calendar, we have items 5.1 through 5.11. Do we have any members of council that would like to pull any of our consent items? Any members from the public wish to pull any of our items from consent? Or staff, any staff members? Okay, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion for the consent calendar.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to our regular calendar. Item 6 is the public hearing for the local roadway safety plan. Staff report was prepared by City Engineer Dave Peters, and we'll start by opening the public hearing and having a presentation by Bill Washburn. Or, I'm sorry, Will Washburn.
That's okay, you can call me whatever you want.
No, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Will Washburn. I'm with Peters Engineering Group. And do I get the key?
Oh, sorry, I was doing something.
Nothing without the help of Miss Abby. All right. This is the public hearing for their acceptance of the local road safety plan for the city of Kingsburg. This is a necessary action for our community to be considered for highway safety improvement program funding through the state of California. So this was a recent addition to that grant application that we needed to have one of these. So we had processed that. A copy was in your packet, but we'll go through here just a few slides, and then we'll have opportunity for questions, and then open it up to the public. The object is to provide a framework that would establish efforts in minimizing fatal and severe traffic collisions by identifying, analyzing, and prioritizing roadway and intersection safety improvements within the city. Our process, this is similar to all communities. We would confer with stakeholders to identify concerns. We would obtain collision data, which we worked with the police department to get that, as well as the state's database through SWITTers. We identified collision trends such as types of collisions, the severity of them, any of those collision factors, and those come to us in a form that looks like this. I know you can't see that, but it's pretty detailed breakdown of what's happening. We also identify safety focus areas. One of those areas is obviously downtown, and we want to develop countermeasures and project proposals to improve high-risk locations. So we would, our plan includes proposed projects, 6 of which are in your staff report as well. And this is a living document. So we have the opportunity, once you approve it, we have the opportunity, if things arise or we have God forbid, another accident or something like that, that brings our attention to an area that we didn't initially look at within the plan, we have the opportunity to revise it. This map was included in the document. It shows severe and fatal collisions within the last 6 years. As you can see, most of them are, on our major streets. And then we have the total amount of crashes, and a lot of these you can see are property damage crashes, low impact collisions. There's also pedestrian versus vehicle crashes that are included in this as well. So, and we have this chart as well. We can obviously go over if you have questions, but this is included within the report. And this kind of breaks it down by year, by the type, and other types of injuries that are there that what we can gather off the database. Obviously, if the database isn't there, then we're kind of stuck putting it at the end. So we have our report identifies criteria for selecting projects. So these 6 types of projects We have roundabouts, traffic signals, signal modification if the signal is already there, lane modifications to those areas, pedestrian crosswalks, and ADA ramp installation. So we, kind of run the full gamut from really expensive to not as expensive. And so these are our criteria for that. We look for right-of-way violations, and what that means is that people aren't yielding when they come into that intersection. On the signal modification, we have a project that we've suggested where there's an existing signal and we're looking to update that particular signal's infrastructure instead of installing a new one. But this kind of goes up and up to the most. We didn't propose a roundabout in our top 3 projects in either one because A, they're expensive, and B, the projects that we did propose we thought had a higher priority. So these are the locations where we would do them. Once again, if you have a roundabout, there could be a signal there. There could not be a signal there, but those would be at 3 to 4-way intersections. Traffic signals would replace either a 2 or a 4-way stop. And modification, obviously, we just went over. Lane modification would be adding left turn pockets where there are none, or adding right turn pockets, or adding additional pedestrian activities, flashing beacons, those types of things. Updating pedestrian crosswalks, a lot of those could just be striping, but we could also add them. Some of the mid-block stuff that we did on Sierra Street here just recently would be one of those types of things. And then obviously ADA ramp compliance is a big deal. So we listed, like I said, we listed 3 projects. We had 18th and Stroud, 10th and Stroud, and Draper and Simpson as our 3 projects, and those would be just within the city of Kingsburg's right away. Obviously, the Draper and Simpson one has railroad implications to it. The other 2 do not. We would have some right-of-way acquisition we would need to do at 10th and Stroud, specifically on the southwest corner where it's just a vacant lot right there. So I mean, there's pluses and minuses to each of these, but specifically at 10th and Stroud, that's right there at Rayford Johnson, and so we would encourage that for safety for the junior hires that are using that, plus their parents or whoever else is using that facility off peak. And then we had 3 projects that were on State Route 201. One was at Sierra and Simpson, pre-signal. So this process is similar to what's at Mountain View and Golden State right now in the westbound direction. So you stop ahead of the signal. You're not allowed to sit in that area between the tracks and the intersection. And both the CPUC and the railroad prefer this as their betterment for those. We did have a fatality at that intersection. Apparently, we had another one as well that wasn't in our traffic data. But then we have the modification at 18th and Sierra, and this one we've actually talked with staff about potentially doing a pedestrian scramble, which is where there's one phase of the signal where all the pedestrians go, and so it's kind of, you see those diagonal crosswalks crossing the intersection. Obviously, you all have been around Kingsburg High School at lunch, so you know what that's like. So that's one of the things that we saw there. We didn't have a lot of specific crashes there besides property damage crashes. Thankfully, in my recollection, there wasn't a lot of pedestrian issues there, but it's just one other thing to keep everybody safe, and it kind of solidifies that intersection. We also have one at 6th. So this is at the very western edge of Caltrans's right-of-way. It's just on the west side of the freeway there, and it's not at the interchange. It's just to the west of that. So a portion of that intersection is in Kingsburg's right-of-way, but Caltrans maintains that signal. So that's why we would do that one. And this one has the gas station that has the driveway coming out into the intersection. So there's modifications we could try to do at that point too. But anyways, those are 6 of our projects that we highlighted. There were other projects within the report that I'm happy to talk about. And that ends my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Council discussion? Yeah.
You said those were the 6 that you guys decided on. Who were the, was it staff with community members, or how did you arrive at the 6?
Well, we did do, we had a safety meeting with the Kingsburg safety staff, so that includes police and fire. We did take some data. They are doing another study in the downtown area, so we took some of that public reference, but mostly we're looking at accidents that we were seeing in those locations, and then trying to match up the proposed components of what a highway safety improvement project would pay for. So there's specific things that those that grant will pay for, which are safety improvements. So it's not like we can go and just reconstruct Sierra. That doesn't provide that safety. So we were looking at the accident data, trying to interpolate at that point in time, what do those accidents tell us about what safety measures we can comply, and then, you know, just because we have accidents at the intersection and just because it's in our LSRP does not mean that the state will grant us the funds. We still have to compete against other locations. So we're trying to look for projects we can sell to the state that say, look, this provides the benefit that the grant is there for, and it's competitive. There is an actual safety issue at this location. So that's why we did that.
Okay, one other question. So on Sierra and Golden State, I noticed that one wasn't on.
We're calling that Simpson.
Okay, you're calling that Simpson. So then that one, will that one get a crosswalk on the north side as well? Because right now there's currently not one.
Right, so we are doing a similar project in Fowler.
Sorry, hey, Peter, city engineer. So yeah, we did a diagnostic meeting with with UP and the CPUC there, and they identified a bunch of improvements. A lot of them Will did touch on, and the sidewalk was one of the ones that they would want there.
Okay.
So we've broke it out into 2 separate project lists. That one would fall in the
Next
state
cycle? Okay.
right-of-way list, and I don't know that we would necessarily focus on that because those projects are a little bit more difficult and expensive to get through the process and implement. Just we found out through our experience with the grant application, you'd have to partner with Caltrans. You got to go through a coastal permit. And you're subject to their review and everything. So I think what we would probably do on the Highway Safety Improvement Program is focus on the city projects, and that was the first list.
Okay.
So hopefully that makes sense.
That's fair. No, that's really fair. And then the only other one that I'd like to see probably moved up on the list is the 10th and Kern, because there's a school right there, and it wasn't within the last year, I think, that we had a car that collided with the school. So that stop sign, I think what I read was a 4-way stop sign project?
Yeah. So this is the starting point. This is the
Okay.
basis for where we're going to jump off and into the grant. And obviously, as you develop those grant applications, they sometimes they reveal things that you didn't expect. And so I think I would commit to coming back to you at your next meeting and just give you an update on which those 3 projects are the ones, or this one is the one that we're really focusing on. And if we look at some of those other projects, like you said, 10th and Kern, we think those are going to score higher. We could focus on that.
Okay.
We probably won't submit more. I would commit that we probably will not submit more than 2 projects.
Okay.
Because the grant applications are so in depth, and if you spread yourself too thin, I'm trying to submit like 5 different projects, then you're better focusing on 1 or 2 projects and submitting a more detailed grant
Okay.
application. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Will.
Other councils?
Yeah, I have a question. The projects that you apply for grants for, does the state ask for the numbers, that
Yes.
you guys submit to them?
That's part of the application, is we have to
So-
submit the same accident data that you're seeing in the
Right.
LRSP is what's going to
So
get.
do they have a criteria on so there needs to be so many accidents or stuff,
Well, I think there has to be a basis for the safety improvement.
Right.
Which accident data is the largest one.
So
There
when
are-
so when you submit all the data too. That's
Correct.
my question.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's part of the deal.
So I'll jump in here too. So the big thing on these grant applications is the cost benefit ratio. So obviously the benefit is gonna be higher if you have a bunch of crashes and a bunch of traffic volumes. Then correcting that has a much higher benefit, and then, you know, you calculate the ratio, you know, versus the cost on that. So, yeah, more accident, I mean, unfortunately, the more accidents you have, the more traffic you have, probably the better your project is gonna look and the higher it's gonna score. So, that's why we're trying to focus on those areas.
Yeah, and I brought up 10th and Kern many times because I get calls every time there's an accident there, but there's only like one every 2 years, and then I get like, 6, 7 calls about 10th and Kern. And then plus, there's a stop right there by the store and the school. When it comes, when it turns into Draper, you'd be stopping like twice right away, but
We did identify it within the list. So
You did,
Dave
okay.
said we can move that.
And then how about the roundabout? I noticed the criteria you had up there for the for roundabouts, and on the one by on Mariposa and 18th. That's mainly, we're going to put a roundabout there because of the congestion, right?
Correct.
Because there's not a whole lot of accidents there, to my
Yeah,
memory.
that was a different grant application. We did that through our air mitigation and congestion relief
okay.
application, not through the highway safety improvement plan.
Okay. Okay, great, thank you.
Can you go to page 19 of what is our document? It's specifically the bicycle-involved crashes by crash severity and type. I don't know how you'd be able to find it. I guess my question is, it shows between 2018 and 2023, we've had,
In the presentation.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's,
PowerPoint.
yeah, it's not, it's,
Well, it's on-
it's listed as their page 19 within their document.
RSP. So you're gonna have to go down.
Oh, wait.
No.
Oh, you said they're 19? It's page 175.
Keep going down. That's 15. Go down 2 more pages. 3, 4. Okay, right there. That's what I'm looking for. Just confirming that between 2018 and 2023, we're showing 2 bicycle crashes, period, total. Is that accurate? And out of those 2 bicycle crashes, one is property damage only, one is visible injury, which means not severe injury, no complaint of pain. I guess we're on a couple questions. One, that's really low, which is a good thing if it's accurate. Bike lanes are going to be going in downtown, it seems like. I'm just wondering if that number is accurate, because part of the reason for that was we were told that by a certain issue. This document stated that there's only 2 bicycle accidents. My second follow-up question on that, so you can answer both at the same time, is under other visible injury, you show 1 bicycle accident out of 41 total crashes, and your percentage for that 1 to 41 ratio is 19%. And I don't understand that.
I think we have a decimal issue there. It's probably 1.9%.
It's 2.4%.
2.4. Okay. Well, then I will make a change to that on the second issue. On the first issue, the data that we have.
Sorry.
I think if I heard your question right, you were essentially wanting to have a discussion about the need for bike lanes on Draper?
No, that's separate. I'm bringing it up because
He's
of the
asking
bike
if
lane
it's actually-
going in, and part of the conversation we've had in the past is specifically regarding bicycle safety.
Yeah, sure.
And when I look at this document, it seems as though over the course of 5 years, 2 bicycle accidents is a phenomenal record, which,
Right, yeah.
knock on wood, that continues. And I guess what I'm questioning is, with the math being off, I have a little bit of question as far as the validity of the numbers.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and
Is it right, is what I'm asking?
well, and really just kind of on Draper, the thrust of putting those bike lanes in was really to try to offer an alternate mode of transportation. So we're hoping that when we put those in, we're actually encouraging people to bike that aren't biking. But
Okay.
I do see your point.
Are the numbers accurate?
We'll do a double check.
Okay.
My thoughts are is that we did do what the Switter's data told us, and if our math's off, then we'll change that.
Okay, that was the only question.
Can I comment? Because I've been involved in the other project where they were looking at crash data and bike accidents along Draper Street, and it did seem low, and we could actually come up with a few more. I can come up with a few more bike accidents than that. But one of the things that they pointed out there was the data could be like a year late, so it's not the most recent.
Well, and also it's whether or not they actually call the police.
Yeah.
Sure,
So-
no, and I get that. I'm factoring all that in. Even with all that being said, 2 is a great number, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for it. I don't want to give the perception that I'm not. I just question the number when I see the math just doesn't work on,
Sure.
on the table in and of itself. And then within table 14, paragraph data, it's talking about how that is incredibly relevant because of the severity of the numbers. That's where my question comes in with that, which it could just be that I don't understand how it's gathered. That's why I want to ask.
We can double check that for you.
Okay.
It does, so I'm wondering if that's what that was.
Do you have any other council discussion? Okay, we'll open it up to public comment. Do we have any members of the public that would like to come up and discuss it? Well, seeing none, we will close public comment and bring it back for a continued council discussion. Do we have anything else from council or staff? Okay, seeing none, we will close this hearing, and we will entertain motions for the adoption of the local roadway safety plan.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm going to oppose it simply because I need to make sure that the data is correct before I'm going to say yeah to it. So that motion passes. We'll move on to item 6.2, the micro grant application consideration for the Business Improvement District. Staff report prepared by City Manager Alex Henderson and presentation by City Manager Alex Henderson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. You had a brief introduction to this earlier when Ms. Carpenter was up here giving her presentation. But to provide some additional detail, in 2017, council created a micro grant program that would partner the city with private residents, groups, or service clubs to help finance projects that may otherwise go unfunded. The main purpose of the grant program is to support the following strategic principles, which include beautifying a public space or park, support community programs or group activities, provide a safety benefit, improve overall quality of life in our community, and promote sustainable economic development. Staff has received an application for matching funds that would be used to help purchase and replace new trash receptacles for the downtown. The Kingsburg Business Improvement District is the applicant, and they are proposing to purchase, it sounds like 20 or more, I had 21 in here, new containers to replace the existing receptacles. All of the containers proposed to be replaced are located within the bid boundaries, and the applicant is seeking $15,000 in matching funds. Staff has completed the rubric and determined the project is eligible for funding. As described by the applicant, the project is to purchase custom 45-gallon receptacles, including a rain lid and custom engraving, which Leslie talked about a little bit earlier. As required of the program, the applicant has also provided signatures signaling community support for the project. The proposed manufacturer, Kings River Casting of Sanger, California, has indicated it will take 8 to 12 weeks to fabricate the containers, and the bid has indicated their goal is to have the new containers deployed prior to the Santa Lucia Festival, scheduled for December 7th, 2024. Public Works staff will also be coordinating deployment to ensure containers are located in the most highly trafficked areas. They will also assist with the removal of the old containers, and we're determining some options for utilizing old containers that remain in usable condition. Staff in the bid have also contacted Mid-Valley Disposal regarding a possible contribution to help offset the costs or to purchase additional containers. And the bid is submitting a letter to Mid-Valley for their consideration. So staff this evening is recommending approval of the grant request up to $15,000, depending upon possible contributions from Mid-Valley Disposal and the total number of receptacles to be purchased. So included in your packet this evening is application materials. There's also a photo of one of the fabricated receptacles that they did for COS. That concludes my report, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on the micro grant? Okay, council discussion?
I just had a question for Alex. Daniel and Public Works have reviewed the trash cans, like Leslie said, right? And they're cool with the construction of them, how they're going to be placed, and all the rest of that.
Yes, Daniel's worked closely. He attended the most recent bid meeting. I think the inclusion of the ring lid was his request, so I know that he's reviewed this, and I think he has a previous relationship with the manufacturer as well, so he's comfortable with the product that they provide. So yeah, he's been involved.
Okay, that's all I had. Oh,
Yes.
Thank you, Leslie, for the presentation and all the bid does. I think this is a good project for everybody.
I have a question. How many trash cans do we currently have uptown? Is it 20? Or it's not 20, is it?
So if you just look in the bid, just the ones that we're talking about that are the ones in the downtown area that have, sort of the stone around the outside that you see, and there's 20 of them.
There
And
is 20,
there's
okay.
dots of them there. So there's not many on the side streets right now. There are a couple down on Marion. I do think that there are some other trash receptacles that some of the businesses have put out that aren't on this map. And I think we're talking about now, it changes, right? So, previously there was, nothing on Smith Street that would produce a bunch of trash. Well, now you have Roadhouse and you have Bella Creamery and those sorts of things. So sometimes the locations of where they're needed more are change over time. And so I know Daniel's going to be working with the group to figure out what is the best deployment if the project moves forward. What is the best deployment locations? Because if you go by the one outside of Cup of Joy, it gets filled up pretty quickly, and Casaros pretty quickly when school is in session. More so than maybe the ones that are down towards Sierra Street. So.
Yeah, I seen that. I didn't see that note on the bottom, so yeah, thank you. 20.
Question. Since they're heavy, I'm assuming that they're going to have a liner on the inside that gets emptied, right?
Yes, have a liner and a door.
Okay, so you won't have to dismantle so they're reasonable, okay.
They're really, he's offered to take us on a complete tour, get going around whatever we want. It's good stuff.
No, I love them. I love the blue. I think that'd be a good addition to downtown. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think this is exactly what this program is for. I think this benefits everybody, meets our criteria. I think it's great. I hope you get the whole amount that you need. Any other council discussion? If not, we'll entertain motions. And when you give a motion, give the amount that you're recommending, because it could be up to $15,000 if I understand correctly. So $0 to $15,000 if any motion at all.
Well, I will make a motion to give $15,000 for the trash cans to bid.
I'll second.
Third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimously approved. Thank you very much. We appreciate everything you guys do. We really do.
Thanks, Leslie.
Moving on to item 6.3, the Kingsburg Senior Center Hot Meal Program for 24-25. Staff report prepared by Community Services Director Adam Castaneda.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Thanks for having me today. So today I get the privilege to not only represent my department, but Kingsburg Senior Inc. at the Kingsburg Senior Center. And this is in regards to their hot meal program. So the hot meal program at the Kingsburg Senior Center is the largest and most resource intensive program that we offer to our senior population. Currently the program is facilitated 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and it does require substantial staff time and resources to run that program. Senior Center staff and Kingsburg seniors for the last several years have expressed a desire to transition the current hot meal program, which is sponsored by the Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission and funded by the Fresno Madera Agency on Aging, which is their cafeteria food that they provide for the county for senior service centers, to transition to prepare their own meals on site, utilizing the new kitchen that's looking to be forecasted to be completed within the next couple of months, help funded by the Kingsburg Healthcare District. One of the main reasons, of course, for the transition is just the senior satisfaction with the meals that are currently being served. We noticed there was a change after COVID-19. The quality, the service, the delivery times, all of that has just kind of dwindled, and staff is kind of put up to an end. So the Kingsburg Senior Citizens Incorporated Board of Directors has advocated to the city to start preparing meals on site when the kitchen project is completed. Although the transition is not the cheapest option, and it will increase the city's financial obligation about $7,000 to make the transition. Really, it's just aimed to improve the quality and satisfaction of the meals that the Kingsburg seniors receive at the senior center. To facilitate this transition, city staff and Kingsburg Senior Inc. went out and they contacted the Kingsburg Healthcare District and the Larry Hill Bloom Foundation, and they were able to receive grant funding to help support this program and to support the transition. The proposals made to these organizations was to include the covering of all the meal costs, food being supplied for the program, and also included a wage increase for the nutrition coordinators, just based on the additional work that they would be required to do to host a whole program on site on our own. Today, city staff is just presenting a couple options to the council and hoping that we can help get us a decision passed on either transitioning to a new program where we cook on site, or we just continue the relationship that we currently have with the Fresno Madera Agency on Aging. In the staff report, I included just a couple of highlights. For the first option, which would be remaining with the FMAAA program, the current contract for this coming year is $32,000 that they help supply to the city to help fund the program. All meal costs are covered by FMAAA and EOC, so all the meals are prepared, they're delivered on site, ready to go. We just kind of temp them and send them out there, serve them, and kind of facilitate that part of the program. And with that, there's no potential increase, and this is the current budget amount for what we've presented so far to the council for the fiscal year 24-25. The second option is the transition, which is supported by the healthcare district. They gave a grant for $55,000 to cover all food purchase costs and all supplies for the program. Larry Hill Bloom Foundation came in at $15,000 to support the wage increase and supplies, and then of course Kingsburg Senior Inc. has put on there as well to kind of help support the program. So Kingsburg Senior Inc.'s total obligation would be the $20,000. The grant, of course, like I said, is covered by those expenses by the other organizations. It does include a wage increase for city staff, just the nutrition coordinators, and like I said, it's about $6,900 an increase for what we're projecting for this coming year. It does enhance the quality of meals, and it does address the needs or the wants for the Kingsburg seniors. Staff report showed just the financial breakdown, kind of so make it easier for you to kind of see where we're at. Yeah, you can go back to the first one. One more. So this was this past year. This is kind of a snapshot of what it looked like. Current department supplies, we have $13,000, which is budgeted currently for what we spend on nutrition programs. FMAAA contract for this past year was $24,000. It does fluctuate every year depending on federal funding, between $24,000 and $32,000. This year that we're currently in is the full $32,000. We receive donations from seniors for the meals. Obviously, they're not mandatory donations, but they equate to about $9,200 annually, and so that kind of puts you at a projection of what the city actually spends, which is the $93,000 to run the program as it currently stands. Next one. This is the projection, or this is what we're looking at for this year, 2024-2025. If we stayed with FMAAA, they would give us the full $32,000 for the grant. Donations would stay the same, projected around the $9,200. So essentially bringing the numbers down for the city's portion, which is about 87,000. Again, that's staying with FMAAA county supplied meals. This is the proposed projections for what we're looking at or what we're requesting from council. If we do make the change for on-site meals, healthcare district is coming in at 55,000. Senior center is giving us the 20, which includes the 15 from the Hillbloom Foundation. They have a 501c3 kind of, they can't give it to the city, but because Senior Inc. is supporting it, they're using them. So bringing us to about $94,000 with the transition for that. And that's kind of where, just a breakdown. These are breakdowns of just of what it looks like for nutrition coordinators, what we currently spend on the program. These are all numbers that we send to the state, currently to FMAAA. These reports are just generated every month to kind of send to them to see kind of where we're at on an annual and monthly basis for what we spend for the program. But yeah, with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but really, so staff is here today just to kind of make council aware of kind of the situation where we're at with both programs and to kind of recommend going towards doing a transition to on-site meals instead of FMAAA meals. Both grants are all for one fiscal year. FMAAA gets recontracted every year. The grant funding for this year is only for this year. Healthcare District and Hillbloom Foundation only do the year, but have been kind of recommended that we continue to reapply every year. Just to kind of see where they're at, but they're supporting the program. In the event that the program lapses or the funding lapses, we just recontract with FMAAA. It's federally funded. There's no application process. We just essentially tell them we'd like to come back. And I met with their nutrition program coordinators up there, just kind of letting them know this is kind of what we're doing this evening. And that's essentially they would put us on a lapse period for 1 year, and then next June, they'd resend an application for the next year, and we could council could either approve that one or, again, reject it, and then they would continue the cycle. So with that is my report. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Do we have any public comment on this? Okay, seeing none, bring it back for a council discussion.
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Yeah.
Adam, first of all, I think your staff, I've gotten to know them over the last year more, and I think your staff's amazing. I think that the seniors enjoy them. I think that they take care of them very well. And I know that the meals that they provide are more popular.
Correct.
That is abundantly clear to me. And in your number of taking over those meals from
FMAAA, yeah.
Thank you. How many individuals are you proposing to feed? I mean, is it like, okay, this is a calculation based on 35 people showing up? Is it, how is the calculation?
We're averaging to be 35 to 40 people a day. It'll fluctuate and it'll increase. There are certain days, certain meals that we see the numbers increase. But in the staff report on one of the last pages, it shows where the numbers came up for the supplies and food, which is about $53,000. Healthcare District bumped it to the 55. They figured just to be on the safe side, they'd cover it. But yeah, so it's about 40 people a day. It's 200 meals a week, 800 meals a month. Birthday lunches. There are different special occasions that we host throughout the month that will bring in more people.
Yes.
And also the same thing with donations. Donations seem to increase when we cook on site as compared to donations that we get from when we have meals from the state. And so we use the projection of $12,000 or at $9,200 for donations. But I mean, I kind of see that number already jumping up once they know that seniors are getting a different type of meal. And it's been broadcasted to them that if they want to keep a sustainable program for on-site, which is a luxury because not other cities have this, all of them are contracting with other agencies to provide these meals. I just think they kind of buy into the program. So.
Yeah, I think with the breakfast, they've seen an increase in popularity, right?
Yes, and that is supported by the Healthcare District as well.
Right.
They give a monthly stipend to through Senior Inc., and they provide a breakfast 5 days a week. And we see just an influx of seniors in the morning that come in and get a meal, and whether they stay for lunch or the activities or they leave and come back. But yeah, we've seen increased activity at the center.
Yeah, so I think that's all good stuff, and thanks to the Kingsburg Healthcare District for helping support part of both of those programs. And so I think that anytime you can help feed the seniors is a good thing. And so I appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and yeah, thank you.
No, I support the program. I'm glad that we're able to do this. I'm glad that we're seeing support by Hillbloom and the healthcare district, because I think it'll be great for the seniors that we're doing this.
Yeah, I talked to some of the seniors and some of the staff too, and I know they say that sometimes those meals aren't the greatest that come, get delivered, so I think this would be a good step in the right direction for sure.
Okay. I mirror all the comments I've ever heard. It's a good program. We appreciate it. With that being said, if we don't have any more council discussion, we will open it up for motions.
So I'll make the motion for the transition to Kingsburg staff prepared meals, right? That's the third
city
option on there, right? Of
the city staff recommends accepting the Kingsburg Healthcare District's grant and transition to Kingsburg staff prepared meals to enhance the hot meal program's quality and satisfaction for the senior community. The decision will affect the current fiscal year, with funding being recontracted annually.
Yeah.
Is that your
So-
motion?
I'll second.
That's
Yep. All in favor?
it's a mouthful.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks again for everything you do. We'll move on to item 7, council member reports and staff communications, starting with 7.1, Community Services Commission,
We haven't met since our last meeting.
7.2, Public Safety Committee,
I think we will be meeting next, 12th or 13th? Yeah, next week.
7.3, Chamber of Commerce. Does anyone have a report out from
I didn't go.
Councilmember North? 7.4, Economic Development, is that hers also?
No, that's me, and we are scheduled to meet at the end of the month.
7.5, Finance Committee,
We haven't met since our last meeting.
7.6, Planning Commission,
Have not met. We have the joint meeting tomorrow evening with council.
7.7, SKGSA.
We did had a meeting, and the main focus was the well mitigation. There's, I'll summarize it because it gets lengthy, but in the South Kings GSA, we have 6 wells that could potentially be of an issue due to groundwater subsidence. But we're in a unique position that those 6 wells, if they ever did need to be mitigated for whatever reason, that was because of the groundwater level lowering, we could hook them up to city water. So I think that our GSA is in a better position than, say, some other GSAs, because there's a lot of wells outside of our GSA that are potentially at risk. So that was the main thrust of the meeting, and so we adopted the plan to the 6 well mitigation program with the other GSAs. So it was going to all the GSAs to adopt that plan, and so we adopted it on our side, and so it's going to the others. So that's all I had to report.
7.8, the downtown bid. That's Laura's also, right? I think we got a report from Ms. Carpenter tonight. 7.9, Council of Governments. We did meet last Thursday. Nothing Kingsburg related to bring back and report. 7.10, council member reports.
Yeah, I met last week with a gentleman named Mr. Baines, he's wanting to put a housing development he's inquiring about it with me over on Kern and like Bethel Avenue in that area, but it's Fresno County, so, but he's wanting to do that, so I think city staff's aware of it, so, we'll see what happens.
I have one. We went on the Back the Blue walk last Saturday, and that was very nice. It was a little warm, but it was good. It's always good to get out there and to show support for the police. They do a great job here in town, so I was glad we were able to make that.
City Manager's Report.
As Councilmember Palomar mentioned, just a reminder about the joint workshop tomorrow night, our general plan sort of kickoff meeting, and then sent out information, and it's on our website, and we put it on social media today, just about the Draper Street work that will take place on Friday and on Monday. So that's all I have.
Item 8, future agenda items. We have none listed. And item 9, we will be adjourning the regular and going into closed session for labor negotiations. Thank you.